everybody. I am Nu-Trix, and today we're talking about another plugin from Bleass Audio. You know, if you're following my YouTube channel, that I really like what Bleass is putting out there. Plugins, synthesizers. Last time it was the Omega, which was an FM synthesizer. Now, this plugin that they released today called Phase Mutant is actually, I would say, kind of a spin-off of that Omega synth. It could be part of an FM synth, but it's an FM plugin. The logic is you're going to have two operators like you have in FM, one being the source sound you put in. So a recorded track, a synthesizer, a voice, a drum, a bass, wind, whatever it is that you want to put in. And the other operator will be the internal plugin itself that can be modulated or that can modulate with FM modulation, the other source. It sounds weird. It's actually weird. It's fun. You can do different things. So what I'll do is I'll demo how you can use it on different sounds. I'll do it with bass, with a sequence synth, with a pad, with the drum, and with voice. So you have an idea of what you can do with it. By default, it's on FM. Surprise, but you can do distortion. You can do soft modulation. You can do enhanced frequencies. Come in, you'll see. So you have this bass line, which is really just a sound from Flowtone playing a one-note bass line. Very simple. But now if I add Phase Mutant to this, it creates that. In this case, I'm using it as a distortion. Let's go through the interface itself. I'm going to put stop to this for now. You have the choice of algorithm. Do you want the source? In this case, you've got the little sine wave that you see that is modulating the source that you're sending it. So my own sound, the bass playing from the synthesizer, is being changed, modulated by Phase Mutant. The other way around is the source that you're sending it is the modulation to the internal generator that is in Phase Mutant, which is the waveform you have here. Or then that last one, which is you can basically use your same source twice and use the same source as the modulation and or the operator that received what we call the carrier in FM synthesis. If you're not sure about FM synthesis, there should be a link here to my video about Introduction to FM synthesis. So go there, be sure you understand the carrier, modulator, and what you can do in the ratio and all that stuff. I'm not going to go through that today, but you see that when you select that algorithm, attack, release, ratio, find, and waveforms become gray, which is logical because this is actually the control of the internal sound generator of Phase Mutant. So right now, and if you're in the microphone, so input and input for the both carrier and modulator in FM, then the internal synth we're not using, the internal source we're not using. So, which is totally logic. Let's go back to, let's say, the first one I had this one. So I'm hearing my bass being modulated by the internal source. So if I go 0 amount and I play it again, if I bring the volume, the amount of modulation this is the extreme. So, and then there's intensity, there's light. Let's just check the difference between original sound. So there's a little bit of medium, more modulation. And again, you still have the original sound, but some beef to it. So, and the last one is, so you can have cool, I would say, distortion with this, or yeah, it's kind of a fuzz distortion. Now, if you play with the ratio, you get that low end modulation. Then it's might be too much. Might be too fast. If you go higher, you see that you're having harmonics that are higher. So it's 8 times the speed of the original sound. And again, if you go dry, well, you just hear the original and just the result. You gotta cut up to get rid of the high ends, open it up so we hear all the gritty FM sound. Now, right now, if you look at it, there's also moving parts in this. We've got stereo, we've got attack, smooth, but if you look at the ratio, you see that there's a little information moving around here. And the waveform also, there's movement around here. So what are these movements? These are actually the LFO or modulation internal of the plugin information. So it shows you what is actually being moved by another layer. So right now in the layer where we see the effects itself, if you go into LFO, you've got two LFOs, and you get an envelope. Now, this is classic to all the bass. This is a classic in all the Bleass plugins. So nothing special about it. You decide, I mean, it's always the same logic. You have the rate, you can have it in beats or in a free mode. So the LFO is just free running. You have two different targets. Right now I'm targeting the waveform. So if you go back here, the shape of the modulation, or in this case of a modulator, you can go from something that is sine wave and you can shape it up to a square wave. And this is pretty cool because the sine waves will create a specific sound. Let's actually play this. And the square will be much more aggressive sounding because the cut is steep. You have an envelope, and all of them you can send it to two different destinations. You click on the so there's a list of destinations you can send it to. And there's a sequencer that is also like a big modulator. And you have the option of drawing what you want, changing the type of, each type of sliding ways that it can do, the resolution of it, the length of the step, how many steps you have, want it to be snap or not. 2 targets possible for this thing and the amount for each, plus and minus. You can also ask for randomness. So it's going to random around the number that you have there with the how it's going to slide between them, and you can smooth the values also. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's pretty much what you have in all the other effects. So let's go back and just try to see how it sounds if we try this. So we heard on the bass. I'm just going to go back and if you turn it off. I like that. It's just like it's beefed up, It's a cool sound. And you have that sometimes at the beginning of the. So let's stop this. Let's try on this one now. It's a Bleass Alpha Synth. If I turn on the effects, so the fact that you want it stereo gives you a nice. You can cut the frequencies if you want. You want it. Turn it down. Now, the synthesizer that plays in is the modulator of the sine wave, or the sawtooth in this case. So the carrier that we hear is the waveform being modulated by the synth. Can really create something else with this. So we're not hearing the original synth, we're hearing only the internal sine or the internal waveform that the Phase Mutant is playing, being modulated by the original sound into it. So this is pretty interesting. So some of them are really bizarre because you have this modulation right into them. You see? We're just gonna go back to those that I did. So I decided to have some more of a distortion in mine. So I'm affecting the amount and the ratio. And I have a sequencer that changed a little bit the LFO 1 sync rate. And the source, so the synth is actually affecting the Phase Mutant internal sounds. So it sounds like distorted, and it's really cool, for me, at least. Let's try them on pads now. Press this. And this pad here. Let's actually turn it on. So this one is what I call Rhythm Dust 2, because I did a couple of them. So the pad is the source modulating the internal Phase Mutant sound. The sequencer is going up and down, and it changed the LFO sync rate. So I'm changing the rate of this one here. You see? I changed this, and this is changing the amount. Whereas the other one is changing the tone. I can actually also send it to the ratio to see what it does. I'm creating a new rhythm, a new musicality in it. And we'll go back here. If I switch this, so it's the pad affecting the pad. So this could be something that is more, let's say, musical in the traditional sense. Pretty cool. Or but I like the fact, the first one, the one I did, this one here, creates another rhythm, another melody to it. Let's try something else, just show you what else you can have with these rhythm stuff. It goes between two values. You can imagine that I've got a square wave LFO here, affecting the amount. Okay, what else do I have here? This is just a noisy one, but still it goes, it could be for something you want. See, still another type of sound we get there. Let's try Dirty Tails. It's cool for the pad becomes distortion, that's for sure. But again, let's keep that just for fun. Okay. Let's try now for drums. So the drum is going through beef already to have that, instead of being like this, it has a little bit more punch and a little bit of let's say, saturation. Turn this thing on. So now the drum is the one receiving the modulation from the algorithm, so from the internal synth of Phase Mutant. What I'm moving in real time, you see it on the waveform. We're changing waveform as we're going along, and it's kind of a random one. So I'm using this one here, the sample and hold, and it's affecting the waveform. And it's on a half for the rate, half beat. So you have it's changing on the rhythm. So it creates weird stuff that I'm not expecting. Create some, and it's all in the high end. Even if it's, well, it's in the low also. If you go high, it would be like this, which is more of a real FM sound. So if you want an FM sound with any drum, easy way to do it. And it changes a little bit. Or it could have something that is really dedicated to changing as we go along. Not this one. Let's try this one. Instead I want this on. I could even bring this to be closer to that. I could send this one also to the ratio. Put it at, say, 2 bars. So you can really create rhythm again, but that's in all the plugins from Bleass. You can create rhythm with the sound. Imagine with the effects. So it's really cool. And of course, if you want it to be light, play. If you want extreme, you have the extreme sound, you know. So it's all a question of how much you want, which is pretty nice. I like it. Let's try another one, which is the last one I want to show you, is if you use it on voice.
And the FM operator.
So I decided to record my voice.
Carrier. And the FM operator.
So if I turn it on,
the FM carrier. And the FM operator. The FM carrier. And the FM operator. The FM carrier. And the FM operator.
Right now I'm using it as more as a vocoder because my voice is affecting the internal phase mutant. So.
And the FM operator.
The FM carrier. And the FM operator. The FM carrier. And the FM operator.
The FM carrier. And the FM operator.
The FM carrier.
And the FM operator. The FM
carrier.
The other way around. Would it be like that? It would be like creating distortion. Well, it's my voice affecting the internal phase mutant. I could even sing a bass line, and you could probably hear just the bass line, because now you're hearing the internal sound. I like it. I find this really interesting how you can pull this thing out of just a voice with the phase mutant. And I created a rhythm with just my voice. That's it. So FM, of course, sounds FM-y. You can do it very subtly, so just have creating some part of it. The fact that you can have your voice or any type of sound in it is really interesting. I can only imagine how deep you can go if you use this in something like AUM, where it's more of a modular approach. So this can just be kind of another part of the whole, synthesis that you're doing. But it means that you can use it in real time. You can sing through it. You can play guitar through that thing if you have it, set it up the right way. So this is pretty interesting. And the fact that it can be not just the modulator, but the carrier, or it can also modulate itself, which is pretty interesting. I wish only on 2 things. And I know that Bleass, Vianney, and friends, you're listening. So what I would like to have in this, and I think in most of the plugin from Bleass is in the sequencer part, I would like to be able to save and load sequencer patterns. So I don't have to draw all of them all the time. I could do like one that I use often. I can save it. And then if I'm trying something new, I change the other effects and I could just load different sequence patterns already saved in it. So I would like to have something like that. That'd be really cool. And the other thing is that one thing I really like in FM is the feedback feature. The fact that you can actually self-modulate the operator itself. So if you could have some type of feedback here, we can even expand to even more. It becomes more of a distortion, even that. But that's also part of what's cool about FM is the digital FM distortion that is part of it. So I know that Extreme gives you some of it, but I imagine being in this mode here where it's microphone and microphone, so the two inputs modulating each other. Now, if you could have feedback on that, that'd be great because you would have FM feedback on this original sound that you're sending it. I'll be really interested to play with that. That's it. Have fun. I hope you like it. Again, if you like this video, thumb up, and don't forget to watch the other video about Bleass. All their plugins are really interesting and useful and creative. I mean, you use them in a creative way. It's part of the creative process. And again, thumb up Bleass for another really cool plugin. That's it, guys. Stay safe, make more music, and see you soon. Cheers.